went across the 40. Kevin Carter, when he was with St. Louis, was accused of being a guy who took some plays off. But as his career has moved along, you can really tell the maturity, and he has always been an extremely bright, well-spoken kid.
And he said he is enjoying this year as much as, now, not the fact that they're losing, but the fact that, you know, that this team has stayed together. And I'll tell you one other thing that's bad news for these Tennessee Titans. Billy Volek is limping down on the sidelines. He has been bent over a couple of times trying to get his composure. Number 7 has got a problem.
That last sack by Hayward, I think, got to him.
Drones again, and Carter in on a tackle, takes a wicked shot at Drones and takes him down.
You know, if Billy Volek can't go in, or if there's something happens to him, they're down to one guy, Doug Johnson.
Of course, Doug Johnson, the former backup quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
This is, I mean, it's unbelievable to watch what happened to this Tennessee Titans team before we even got here. And it's been happening all night. Every other play, a guy goes down.
Meanwhile, Denver just trying to make it more painful as Drones, hoping to get the first down, gets within 2 yards to his own 49-yard line. And that will run out the clock in the third quarter. And the Broncos, with an 11-point lead, trying to build on that and strengthen their case for the playoffs.
Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
ESPN Sport Legends presents John McEnroe.
McEnroe is a New Yorker. He's a New Yorker in his crassness and his rudeness and his savvy, how cagey he is, how smart he is, how street smart.
A lot of what people have viewed as sort of classic McEnroe is classic New Yorker. You walk around the city in such a defensive crouch most of the time, you know. You have to protect yourself physically, you have to protect yourself emotionally.
Your skin gets thicker, which in a way is sad because you're sort of cynical of this whole thing. It was a sense of confusion about that, but it also seemed sort of exciting.
People like that he's so candid, I think.
Is that too goddamn far away from you to see? 4 feet too far to see?
There's an old saying, you can always tell a New Yorker, but you can't tell him much.
Nashville, Tennessee on a bitterly cold Christmas night, 27-16.
Jake Plummer really was the guy that was going to take these Broncos wherever they were going to go. Good decision making, very quick decision, key third down run, doing a nice job of really setting up the screens. He's done 3 of them tonight. They've all been very positive. And then just as he's getting hit, releases the ball, hangs it up where only Rod Smith can make a play on it. And that's the kind of ball he needs to play for the Broncos to have a chance to get into the playoffs. Good numbers tonight, too.
And really spread it around. Drones trying to move the sticks, and that's very close to the 49 where they had to get for a first down. Ryan Long made the tackle.
And Mike Shanahan has really, I guess you could say, put all his eggs in Jake's basket. He had Brian Greasy, which didn't work out for him. Then they go out and get Jake Plummer. He realizes that there's been games like they lose 6-7 to Jacksonville, 24-25 to Oakland, 2017 to San Diego. And Jake's had some bad things happen to him, some tip balls, and he believes that Jake is going to be his quarterback. And Jake's looking at a $6 million roster bonus coming up next year. And, you know, I think Mike is committed to Jake Plummer being his quarterback.
They didn't make this. It's 4th down.
Punt it.
You bet. Don't do anything stupid. This is a time to get this ball out of here, because the Tennessee Titans have had a problem all night long. Yeah, I know you've got Reuben Drones, and I know you've got, you know, that good offensive line, but there's no reason to let this team back and
go for it. Come on.
He's thinking about it.
No, he's not thinking about it. He's going to do it. He's going to run it. They haven't stopped anybody.
Just did.
Nah, they're going to go for it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they really do, or do they just try to draw a very young defense off sides.
No, I think you give it to Reuben Drones and you just let him pound it up behind that line.
Or you run off 40 seconds off the clock and then take a timeout and punt, or take the penalty and move him back. And I don't see any advantage at all to go for it here. Not with an 11-point lead.
I don't either. To me, with an 11-point lead, Paul, I think that's the key. You let the other team back in the ballgame.
He wanted to challenge the spot.
And I think they're going to be disappointed in this because it looked like a fair spot.
Interesting philosophy. Take your time, challenge the spot, see if you actually did pick up the first down. I mean, when you're within inches like that, it's worth taking a look at. Critical part of the game, midfield. Good decision by Mike.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think it's worth a shot.
Denver is challenging the ruling on the field, whether the good man was short of the line to gain. We'll take a look at replay.
I love that expression, short of the line to gain.
All right, let's see if he gets over the line to gain. Hard to tell. Well, he is. It looks
He's
like
very close to it.
Well, now, remember now that yellow line is not accurate.
Well, it's not official, but it's very close.
And he's well over what might be the line. I think on that particular play, you can see that his entire body is over that line, right?
No. He's straightened up right at the line.
Nah, he's over the line.
Now he's over the line.
I think they might move it a foot or so.
But keep in mind, it's where the ball is. And if you can't see the ball from that angle, it's not evidence.
Must be indisputable. Conclusive.
You really had to think about it.
No, I did.
Your lips froze and you couldn't get it out.
Yeah, my brain and my lips simultaneously froze up.
I don't blame you for that.
Thank you.
The brain deal.
I think it's really tough to make that call. I mean,
I think it's tough to reverse.
Right.
This would be, in essence, a reversal, although you're talking about moving the ball inches. They made the ruling on the field. They have to find something to force them to move it from where they spotted.
Here's the other thing that you do. It also gives Mike a chance to spend some time talking over with Gary Kubiak, his coordinator, talking over with Rick Dennison, his offensive line coach, and deciding on whether he wants to go for it, wants to take a 5-yard penalty, wants to punt. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios that you have to make a decision on.
Yeah,
right
but this is a major price to pay for getting that time. You lose a challenge and lose the timeout if they don't reverse it.
He got 11-point lead. I think the other offense, Tennessee's offense, has done nothing all night. Absolutely nothing. So the way he has played this has been really masterful.
Well, they've done nothing because they've had poor field position all night long. What they scored on were drives, long drives, an interception, and they got a field goal afterwards. But to me, there just makes no sense to even think about giving them the ball at the 50-yard line.
I don't disagree with you. But two of the drives that they had were the interception and also the fumble punt. I mean, they were short distances to go.
The line to gain.
I love that. I agree with you. I like this.
It's a great line. Did they make the line to gain?
After reviewing the play stands as called 4th down. Denver is charged with a timeout.
They don't see anything on any of those replays that can really lead them to move it anywhere.
And I agree. I mean, it's got to be absolutely positive that you have to move it. Now,
Mike Shanahan is saying, look, this play was right in front of me. I could see right down the line of scrimmage.
It doesn't matter what he says.
No, it doesn't.
It's done. It's done and over with.
But he's saying, how can you not see that on the replays? Well, they didn't, and that's that. And now here comes the punt team. And I agree with you, Paul. I think it's the only decision you can make.
Absolutely.
I don't think that it ever entered his mind to go for it. Not with an 11-point lead against a team that their offense hasn't done a thing.
Put him back deep, right?
Oh, yeah.
Baker to punt.
He'll drop the nose of this ball and hit it right. Boy, is that going to hurt.
That's going to hurt his toe.
That's going to hurt.
And the kicking ball is a different ball. It's not the same one that they use throwing it around.
Eddie Berlin is waiting inside the 10. Can't get up to it, and it takes a good Denver bounce. And that's a mistake on Berlin's part. He needed to come up and get that football and save his team 10 or 12 yards.
Two weeks left in the regular season, and playoff lives are on the line for the NFL on ESPN. It's all about pride for the young Cleveland Browns and the tough luck Miami Dolphins. Let's play some football. Browns, Dolphins, live tonight. Then the mighty Philadelphia Eagles look like they're soaring to a run to the Super Bowl. Led by the elite quarterback Donovan McNabb, they look to bust the playoff bubble of the St. Louis Rams. Browns, Dolphins, live tonight. Eagles, Rams, live Monday on ESPN.
The classic teams, the classic moments, the classic rivalries. Join us as we relive the most historically renowned matches in the history of the game. The history of cricket continues with the classic matches. Wednesday on ESPN.
Best of Friday Night Fights on ESPN. In 2002, Southpaw Kasim the Dream Umo was an up-and-coming star in the light middleweight division when he faced an experienced Michael Lerma on his way to a top 10 ranking. Fridays on ESPN.
ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Beginning Monday, the Red Devils Manchester United take on the Giant Killers FC Porto. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
This ESPN NFL special brought to you by Mazda, always the soul of a sports car. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. Miller, there's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. And Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
If it looks cold, it's because it is. It's in the teens in Tennessee on Christmas night. Brr.
Ho, ho, ho. One of the reasons, I mean, you punt because you have to, but Tennessee in the first quarter, 89 yards of offense. Second quarter, 36 yards of offense. And in the third quarter, minus 6 yards of offense.
And Billy Volek is coming off back-to-back 400-yard passing game. Going to have to get about 280 yards in the fourth quarter to match that. Throws to Derek Mason, who leads the NFL in receiving with 88 catches coming in on that one as they come out throwing on this possession.
He just took the ball away from Kelly Herndon. Look at this. He goes in, and that was his ball. That was an outstanding offensive play.
Over 90 catches for Derek Mason.
Volek underneath him. This one is dropped by the tight end Shad Meyer.
See, that's what's killed him. They had Drew Bennett drop one in the first half,
right,
which would have been a first down. Now you get one dropped here on 1st and 10. You're looking at 2nd and 10. It's hard enough to move the ball, especially when you're an offense like Tennessee that relies so much now on just flat throwing it. I mean, he has no running game to balance off any of the plays. It's all got to be throws.
And you've got to credit the Denver defense. They've done a nice job tonight.
That's 2 in a row to the tight ends who've dropped him.
That's Ben Troop, the rookie out of Florida.
See, first of all, I don't like the throw because the throw is only like a 3-yard throw anyway, and then you're asking the tight end to pick up the additional 7 yards. Look at this throw outside. This is a short throw. And you got active linebackers that are absolutely covering. DJ Williams, number 52, was all over Troop. You got to get the ball down the field. At least 10 yards.
Well, you also have a rookie that didn't really run a good route.
Now it's 3rd and 10. Four-man rush. Tipped by Lynch and intercepted by Kelly Herndon. John Lynch, the Pro Bowl safety, got a hand on it, and Herndon gets his 2nd interception.
That's what happens when you have to try and throw the ball down the field 10, 12, 15 yards. Lynch getting closer to the line of scrimmage. Now just makes a very athletic play. Kelly Herndon does a good job. Actually trips over Al Wilson's foot. Good job, little tip drill. That's what they practice it for. And as he turns and heads upfield, he trips over Al Wilson's foot. Winds up picking up a few more yards.
John Lynch creates the opportunity, going to the Pro Bowl at free safety after all those years with Tampa Bay, going as a strong safety.
Who choked you?
Well,
okay?
It's cold.
We're losing here.
You know, this is a result of punting the ball and putting them down on the 5-yard line.
Right.
Nice fake by Plummer. And a nice catch by Rod Smith, who took that one off his shoe top. Let's go to Susie.
Guys, we were talking earlier about how John Lynch has been the right fit. He was smart about selecting the right system. Shortly after he was released by Tampa Bay, his buddy Ronnie Lott called, said, you spent your whole 8-year career in one system. Why go someplace where they don't speak the same language? It's actually harder than being a rookie because you've got so much information in your head. Over the last 4 weeks, he's been more involved, more blitzing, and from the leadership standpoint, from the get-go, he said at this stage in his career, you hold nothing back.
Susie, you talk about him being athletic. He was the first pitcher selected by the Miami franchise when they got an expansion baseball team. He was a pitcher at Stanford. Reuben Drones hit by Castle, and then Castle got a lot of help.
And one of the neat things, John Lynch's son is named Jake. Actually had Jake Plummer sign a picture to him, and Jake put on that picture, don't let your babies grow up to be safeties.
I'll tell you what, you know why they didn't go for it on that 4th down play? They just tried to run it for another yard and didn't get it.
Crowd hoping the defense can stiffen again. Drones, nothing there. Wow. Just drilled by Carlos Hall.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you talk about no quit in a football team. This team is going absolutely nowhere. They don't even know who to line up because they don't have that many players. They went into a game with 43 guys dressed, and just take a look at this defense go down the line of scrimmage, and you're talking about one of the better blocking offensive lines in the National Football League.
Carlos Hall just hurdled somebody to get in the backfield to make the play.
And this is a huge stand. If Elam can hit the field goal, it's still only a 14-point lead, and Elam knocks it through, but Tennessee remains within 2 scores.
Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Wilt Chamberlain. On March 2nd, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain did something that had never been done and may never be done again in an NBA game.
Chamberlain at 75 with 10 minutes to go.
We were going for 100. His record was our record.
In the second half, the team decided that maybe they can get 100, so they were feeding him constantly.
I don't think any of us realized that Wilt was on that much of a tear. Then Dave Zinkoff, Dipper, 82 points, and literally Wilt's eyes lit up.
Back to Rockwood, into Chamberlain. He made it! He made it! He made it! A Dipper dunk! He made it! The fans are all over the floor. They stopped the game. People are running out on the court. 100 points to Wilt Chamberlain.
ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Beginning Monday, the Red Devils Manchester United take on the Giant Killers FC Porto. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2, the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. Then on ABC at 9 Eastern, Donovan McNabb and the Eagles against the St. Louis Rams on Monday Night Football. You can see John Lynch on the bench saying, boy, that was a short rest. Go right back to work. McCadley on the return for the Titans. Over the 30, Rod Smith wired for sound on Sunday night.
Come on, throw a pick right here. Give us our Christmas present. Give us a pick. What I tell you? What I tell you? I told you the gift was coming. Didn't I tell you he's going to give us a present? I told you he was going to give me my Christmas present early.
Turned out to be a rather small Christmas present. It was a 3-pointer, so it's a 14-point lead. And Doug Johnson comes on at quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, the 5-year veteran out of the University of Florida, who has not thrown a pass this year. He's the backup to Volek and had been the number 3 guy on this ball club. Comes out throwing. Eddie Berlin makes the catch.
Well, you'd expect them to come out throwing. I mean, that's all the Tennessee Titans have done in the last 2 weeks. They've gone out and put the ball up. And I mean, Billy Volek threw for 492 against Oakland, 426 against Kansas City. Of course, tonight just had barely 150, but he got hurt on that 1 sack by Reggie Hayward.
He has a left knee injury. So Doug Johnson presumably is going to go the rest of the way. Had 11 starts during his career with the Atlanta Falcons. Let's go back if we can see where that injury may have occurred.
Reggie Hayward coming down, and just take a look at the ball, bounces right back, but he lands on his knees with about 300 pounds on top of him.
And the numbers not typical of what Volek has done in the last 3 ball games, where he's thrown for almost 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions. He was obviously limited tonight, and certainly the Denver defense had something to do with it. It wasn't all that knee injury. And now a Herculean task for Johnson, who goes underneath to Antoine Smith. And Antoine is drilled. Al Wilson and Mario Fatafehi combined to get him, and Fatafehi really leveled him.
Well, you know, Doug Johnson is the only other quarterback they have.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't have any more. You know, a lot of teams carry another guy.
You know,
they don't have another guy.
You know who number 3 probably is?
Drew Bennett.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, at least 4. Because Bennett was a quarterback at UCLA.
He was 5th. I mean, look at it this way. Even in the pros, he's further ahead than he was when he went to UCLA.
That's right. I think you're really going to have to go down there and talk him into playing quarterback at this level. Hayward coming hard again, and Johnson had that ball come out of his hand. That was almost like a punt, and everybody fell down trying to get to it.
But Drew Bennett has got this caught if he doesn't slip and fall, and then when he slips, Champ falls on top of him. This is actually a good throw. It's underthrown. Bennett's up top. Champ's just sort of baiting him. He slips, and then Champ slips right and falls right on top of him.
Joe, I agree with everything you said except for the good throw part. I mean, every hunter in this building had a shotgun and shooting at that baby coming. I mean, there were guns raised all over the joint trying to shoot that baby out of the air.
Yeah, it might have been a good one, though.
Here comes the blitz. Kenoy Kennedy missed him, but everybody isn't going to miss him.
John Lynch had a shot at him, too.
Boy, they just buried him out. Wilson and Fatafehi are the guys who took him into ground, but he had people. Look at John Lynch laughing. He had people going by him just flying past him.
Mike, they had 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage, and almost everybody had a shot at him at one time or another. He had no chance whatsoever to throw this football.
And that's a half dozen sacks for that Denver defense. Hendrick to kick to Luke. high and short. And now down at the 24, 32-yard kick, no return. 8:40 to go. Denver now firmly in control.
Best of Friday Night Fights on ESPN. In 2002, Southpaw Kasim the Dream Umo was an up-and-coming star in the light middleweight division when he faced an experienced Michael Lerma on his way to a top 10 ranking. Fridays on ESPN. Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
The NFL on ESPN. 2 games each and every week. Oh, that hurts. These guys are tough. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Oh, the NFL on ESPN. Simply the finest football on the planet. The top clubs. The elite players. In a quest for the ultimate prize of European football. The UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Tomorrow, be sure and catch Sunday NFL Countdown. Michael Irvin will have an exclusive interview with T.O., plus reports on all the games, including up-to-the-minute news and stats. Sunday NFL Countdown, all the action starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. Denver up by 2 touchdowns, 8:40 to go, fourth quarter. Starts from its own 24-yard line. Reuben Drones, good play action by Plummer. And Jake slides in safely at the 33. The numbers on Terrell Owens before that injury, which put him out until, well, if they could get to the Super Bowl, he might be able to come back. He certainly changed the face of that ball club, and it gave Andy Reid exactly what he wanted in that offense and exactly what he needed in that offense. It just opened it up for everybody else.
Well, you know, when you make a trade like that, when you take a guy like that, and you expect him to do something, he did every single thing he was asked to do.
Plummer on 2nd and 2. Ashley Lilly knocked out of bounds at the 25. He beat Waddell.
What a nice job of adjusting to the ball. Ashley Lilly, really, he's looking for it over his inside shoulder. Here's the release up the field. He's looking for it over his inside shoulder. Now look at him find the ball. That is not easy. That is very difficult to be able to turn around, locate the ball, and make the play. They said he's one of the guys that had to step up for him this year. They went out and drafted Darius Watson in the 2nd round, got Triandos Luke in the 6th round, so they added some young wide receivers, and Ashley said they were sending me a message.
And it has been a big play year for Jake Plummer and a big play year for Ashley Lilly. And here goes Reuben Drones. Touchdown Denver Broncos. A run of 23 yards for Reuben Drones, and that is a 20-point lead.
Well, Jake Plummer comes out and he runs a play action pass, a bootleg on the first play, then throws to Ashley Lilly, and then look at this, Reuben Drones. They're looking at maybe, is he going to throw the ball again? Reuben Drones, the 2nd time that he has gone into the end zone, and he has not been touched. And this is from the 30-yard line.
I promise you, you've got some guys out of position, some young guys out of position.
Absolutely. Reuben Drones, 90 yards rushing. The point after makes it a 21-point lead. 37-16 Denver.
The NFL on ESPN. 2 games each and every week. Oh, that hurts. These guys are tough. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Oh. The NFL on ESPN.
Simply the finest football on the planet. ESPN continues full-day coverage of the UEFA Champions League all the way through the championship game in May. ESPN, the home of the UEFA Champions League.
3 minutes of punishment. 10 rounds of action. And sometimes you can describe them as the best rounds of the year. We're searching through our collection and choosing what we consider to be the best of Friday night fights. Every week, only on ESPN. The NBA on ESPN is back for a new season, and we've got you covered with the week's hottest live matchups, plus highlights and more on NBA action. The NBA on ESPN. Don't miss a minute.
ESPN takes a special holiday week look back at the best of the UEFA Champions League from last year's great season. Beginning Monday, the Red Devils Manchester United take on the Giant Killers FC Porto. The best of the UEFA Champions League on ESPN.
Coming into this game, the Denver Broncos knew they needed 2 victories and some help. They are doing their part here in Nashville tonight. They're up 37-16. Big night for Jake Plummer. Ruben Drones just gets another rushing touchdown. The defense played well. And for the moment, at least, Rod Smith's concerns about what his team was able to do in tough situations are put aside. And Ruben Drones, the 3 touchdowns, a career high tonight. McCadley on the return gets it out near the 30-yard line.
John Lynch has played, and I think they're really finding themselves. Yeah, I mean, you forget, this Denver Bronco football team, Champ Bailey, new to it. John Lynch, new to it. You know, you've got DJ Williams, new to it as a starter. So this is a defense that'll be better, I believe, next year as well.
And it may be better next week if Trevor Price comes back.
It's going to have to be.
They haven't had his services
They're
all
going
year.
up against Peyton Manning next week, so they better be better.
Draw play to Antoine Smith, makes a couple of people miss and simply refuses to go down. Let's check in with Susie.
Well, Mike, Drew Bennett came into this game on fire, and the Broncos have really done a great job shutting him down. A lot of zone, but it's been Champ Bailey's focus, and Champ hasn't had the easiest of seasons. He told me before the game that it is not a season he would like to duplicate, and at times he was beaten outright, a couple of times on national television, which didn't hurt. But he said at times there were also other things involved, although he won't make excuses. He said he's not trying to make anybody understand. His teammates understand, and people who know the game understand. Man, that's tough out there, being on an island as a cornerback. The guys on his team still see him as the Pro Bowler he is.
Well, Susie, that's, I think, the point. Other people voted him into the Pro Bowl, the guys he plays against. So they voted him into his 5th. John Lynch makes another Pro Bowl for this defense.
Well, the one thing about Champ Bailey is, and Mike Shanahan was telling us about him, you know, these guys see him every day. He has made their receivers, and even Rod Smith admitted, he has made all of their receivers even better because he gives them 100% every single play in practice. He makes these guys work for everything they get. He's just a tremendous player.
And he did exactly what Mike Shanahan brought him in to do in the trade with Clinton Portis. He gave them a reliable shutdown corner, somebody that you could count on. Yeah, he's been beaten, but everyone is beaten from time to time. He gave them something they didn't have in the secondary.
Well, the other thing, too, is here's a guy who hasn't been to the playoffs since his rookie year with Washington. He's 6 years in the league. when we spoke to them a month ago, they were all excited about the fact that, you know, they'd have a shot at. Now, all of a sudden, they're real close to not being there again. Of course, Jake Plummer's only been once.
Tennessee's going to go for it on 4th down and about a yard.
You throw or run, Pat? Paul?
Sam, I think you run.
Doug Johnson throws. It's tipped at the line of scrimmage behind Derek Mason. And Denver will take over with 5:14 to go. And as we try to straighten our own names out on a bitterly cold Christmas night.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't even get the names right on the gift cards. Here's the NFC picture. Philadelphia and Atlanta just sailing along. Green Bay with a big win yesterday. Give the ball back to Brett Favre with a couple of minutes left at your own peril. He seems to do it every time. And the wild card picture, Minnesota, even with an 8-7 record, still in good shape. Carolina heading the pack at 6-8. They would have the inside track. St. Louis with a huge game at Philadelphia on Monday night.
Carolina and New Orleans play the last week of the season.
How about that Carolina? 1-7. Then they win 5 straight. We had them last Saturday night.
Lose the overtimer.
Yeah, they lose the overtimer to Atlanta. And you're right. There's a team to be very careful of if they get in.
Hats off to John Fox and his players. The no quit those guys at all.
You mentioned Jeff Fisher, Coach of the Year, the great job. I mean, just holding these guys together. How about John Fox? I mean, his running back situation is another one that's been depleted.
Oh, absolutely.
They just got beat up with the running backs again.
You know, this whole thing is, if you take a look at, and I've done this, you look at all the Super Bowls and people that have been in the Super Bowl. It is not necessarily, Mike, the best teams that end up in the Super Bowl. It's the teams. There's 3 things that I think happen. You stay healthy, 1. You have a pretty good defense in the top 5 or 6 defenses, and you have a quarterback.
I think the other thing, too, is you have to be able to run the football, because when you stop and think of places, going to New England, going to Pittsburgh as examples, outside, you must be able to run the football. And I think the other element, too, is health. I mean, we've seen it happen to the Philadelphia Eagles the last 3 years. Probably health has been as big a problem for them in the championships games as anything. Carlos Emmons last year, Carell Buckholter, Donovan McNabb.
Right.
Key people been hurt going into that crucial part of the season.
Well, it brings up the question. We mentioned Terrell Owens before and his injury. What all will they be able to do without T.O.? Because he opened up that offense. He's not there anymore. Now we're back to the same offense that lost those championship games.
Well, what scares me, though, Joe, is a little bit is when we did the game a few weeks ago, of all the defensive guys they got hurt. Yeah, you know, you lose Owens, and that is a big shock to them. But they've lost a whole lot of defensive guys, and they're hurting.
But what you lose is you lose the physical presence of Terrell Owens. And that physical presence doesn't necessarily get picked up because you got the same guys as before, Todd Pinkston and Freddie Mitchell. They didn't have a physical presence a year ago or 2 years ago. So it isn't just Terrell Owens' production that's out of there. It's his physical presence that I think has made such a big difference. And what is Jake Plummer doing running around like this?
Well, at least he slid.
Right into this one.
At least he slid. Well, let me bring up, you want to talk about injuries, let's bring up New England. Here is a team that has been beaten up for 6 weeks, especially in the secondary. They're playing some guys who were not high draft choices, guys who had not played very much at all.
Guys who are on offense.
Troy Brown, a wide receiver, who was tied for the club lead in interceptions, at least he was going into last week's game. Are they healthy enough to win it again?
But you're going to get a Ty Law back. I believe that Ty Law, he dressed last week. He's practiced more. You've got at least a couple more weeks. You get the bye before the playoffs. You got Ty Law. You're looking at him possibly 3 weeks more of practicing, playing a little bit, getting more comfortable, getting him back. Tyrone Poole is the other corner. So now you don't have to have linebackers playing safeties and wide receivers playing corner.
You know what? You analyze all you want to do, but when you get into the playoffs, you better be healthy when you get there. And you better have a pretty good defense when you get there.
Well, Denver's a team, if they get there, it's another one that could be scary.
Yes, they could. Tatum Bell inside the 30. And Denver right now just working on the clock, up by 21. And John Lynch Going back to another Pro Bowl with Champ Bailey, so half of that secondary will go to Hawaii.
The Denver Broncos are all about Jake Plummer. I mean, you look at, obviously Donovan McNabb in Philadelphia, Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, but, the thing that Jake has to be is he has to be consistent in football games for 60 minutes. He can't have the little mental lapses. We've seen a couple of them tonight. Trying to dunk a ball over a linebacker gets tipped up in the air when you're in control of the game. Little things like that are the things that he can control and can avoid.
Bell straight up the middle inside the 20 to the 15-yard line. Another first down as we officially reach the 2-minute warning at 1:58 here in Nashville.
وقفة احتفالية هادفة لبرامج يناير الرياضية على أوربت. الجماهير تحتشد استعدادا لاحتفالية بول كرة القدم الأمريكية للجامعات. فرق الدوري السعودي المتنافسة سوف تلقى ترحيبا حارا من أنصارها. المدرجات ستدوي تشجيعا للاعبي دوري كرة القدم الأمريكية. جميع التذاكر مباعة لكافة عروض الدوري الفرنسي. المزيد من الهتافات في الطريق تحية لعمالقة دوري السلة الأمريكي. الدوري الهولندي بحاجة إلى مقاعد إضافية نزولا عند رغبة الجماهير. أوربت خلال يناير عالم من الرياضة.
منافسات الدوري السعودي في بث مباشر على الرياضيات. مواجهة من العيار الثقيل تجمع الاتحاد والنصر. الفريقان لديهما رصيدا واحدا من النقاط وهدفا واحدا من اللقاء هو الانتصار للحاق بركب الصدارة. الاتحاد النصر الثلاثاء في الأوقات التالية مباشرة على الرياضية.
Your choice for a variety of great sports action every day is ESPN.
Stay tuned for Sportcenter. Coming up next, Steve Berthiaume and Linda Cohn. Low-scoring game. Shaq 1, Kobe nothing. Saban bolts for the NFL sounds of the year. That really wasn't the score. We're just being cute on Christmas night. 1-0.
Kobe got like 40. To me, it's, Shaq certainly makes Miami a whole lot better, and I think Kobe's done an excellent job of shouldering responsibility there with the Lakers. But, man, is the Shaq man something. Did you see what Shaq did? Bought out a Toys R Us. 2 18-wheelers of toys he distributed.
That's good.
What a wonderful human being he is.
A little victory formation for the Denver Broncos, and they will just take a knee and try to kill the clock in the last 2 minutes. Well, we said Jake Plummer needed to come in, make good decisions, throw the ball well, and he did exactly that. Threw for over 300 yards. Got another good rushing performance from Reuben Drones, who scored a career-high 3 touchdowns. And Rod Smith continued to play well. He came into this game with 1,010 yards on the season, added to that total. So the Stars came through, and Mike Shanahan wins the 100th ball game for him in Denver. Congratulations to Mike Shanahan. And now all he can do is hope to win next week and hope to get some help, and he'll be in the playoffs again.
Well, he needs help, but they need what they really need. They need to win their last game, and they need Jacksonville to lose the game. Well, and if that happens, then they're in. But they've got to play the Indianapolis Colts.
And where they went into Indianapolis a year ago, and they got beat 41-10. Peyton Manning threw 5 touchdown passes in that particular game. So it's going to be a yeoman's task, but I believe they're fairly healthy. They look pretty healthy as this football team goes. Jake seems like he's got himself back on track.
Well, it's certainly, I think, the best we've seen them play in the last 6 weeks as a team.
Yes.
We did the game against Oakland. That was such a close game, 25-24.
And Mike Shanahan will celebrate this victory And it came over a close friend in Jeff Fisher. And the final score here in Nashville, the Broncos 37, the Titans 16. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Colbert, and our entire hard-working crew. This is Mike Patrick. Merry Christmas from the Coliseum in Nashville. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
Sportcenter.
Home for the holidays, or the place he used to call home. Why, it wasn't Shaq who ruined Kobe's big Christmas day. The first game since the melee in Motown, the very different surprise both teams had in store for the fans this time. What Peyton Manning will be thinking about instead of Dan Marino's touchdown record when he takes his snaps on Sunday. And the Christmas gift only SportsCenter could deliver. The top 10 wackiest sound bites in sports.
The Benz that's sitting on 24s, the chrome spinning.
A three-peat for the world champion Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm the big brother, he's the little brother. As far as the comments that he said, I really don't have a response. If you got a Corvette that runs into a brick wall, you know what's gonna happen.
I don't drive a Corvette, he knows that.
But if you don't like me, must be something wrong with you.
I have to fight back tears, it's gonna be tough. I honestly don't have any sentiment either way.
Well, the Corvette finally met the brick wall Saturday. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Linda Cohn along the way on spectacular ESPN HD.
And Steve, is there any other kind? Also spectacular, the game, which lived up to the hype. Staples Center. Shaq, he didn't want to get caught up with all the nonsense. And for Kobe, he said it was just another regular season game. Before the game, the ref comes to get Shaq for the captain's meeting at half court. Shaq refuses to go. Kobe already there for the meeting. Yeah, no big deal, right? But how would the Laker fans welcome Shaquille back?
At center, number 32, 13th year out of LSU, Shaquille O'Neal.
Even Kobe clapping there for 37-second ovation. And then no eye contact by Shaq to Kobe when the two came together. First play of the game, Kobe. Corvette meet the brick wall. Hope Kobe was wearing his seatbelt because on the other end, Damon Jones finishing 2 of his 11. Next time down the floor, Kobe, who says he's more of a Lamborghini. Thank you. Yep, these two spent 8 chaotic seasons together, 3 championships. Lakers up 5, Kobe. His 3rd straight 3. He had 11 points in the first 3.5 minutes of the game. More Kobe in the first quarter. Coming off the screen just the way he likes it. His 4th 3 in the first. To the second we go. Lakers down 1. Kobe Bryant driving. Shaquille is there and commits the foul. Shaq said his mission was not to allow any layups or dunks by you-know-who. Shaq, meanwhile, nice spin move here in the big slam. 24 points, 11 rebounds for the Diesel. Next possession by the Heat. Shaquille, we got an arrow on him. He's going to spin around and have his way around Chris Mim and Keon Doolan throwing down the alley-oop. Heat down 2 at the break. Let's move to